In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Party General Secretary State President Theo begins state visit to China. Later on, National Assembly Standing Committee convenes the 36th meeting. In our world news, Belarus calls on Russia and Ukraine to negotiate.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is currently 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning in to 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Dylan Lei with the latest updates. Now on Monday, General Secretary of the Communist Party of China and President of China Xi Jinping, along with his spouse, hosted a welcome ceremony for Party General Secretary and State President Theo and his spouse. Following the ceremony, the two leaders held talks.
The welcoming ceremony for General Secretary and State President Theo featured a 21-gun salute, the highest honor for heads of state. General Secretary and President Xi Jinping highlighted the importance of the Vietnamese leader's visit, noting it as a key moment to elevate bilateral relations. He affirmed that Vietnam is a priority in China's foreign policy and expressed support for Vietnam in maintaining party leadership and advancing socialism. General Secretary and State President Theo thanked General Secretary and President Xi Jinping, leaders and the people of China for their warm reception, affirming that Vietnam highly values and prioritizes its friendly neighborliness and comprehensive strategic partnership with China. The two leaders discussed key strategies to build trust, strengthen friendship, and enhance cooperation across all areas. They agreed on the importance of maintaining regular exchanges between senior leaders and emphasized the strategic role of party channels in guiding bilateral relations. They also stressed the need to deepen theoretical cooperation and share the latest theoretical and practical achievements between the two parties and countries. The two leaders agreed to further strengthen security and defense cooperation and enhance economic, trade, and investment ties. General Secretary and State President Theo proposed increased cooperation on major projects, requesting Chinese support through preferential loans, technology transfers, and human resource training. He also urged China to invest in key transport infrastructure in Vietnam and other areas where China has strengths. General Secretary and President Xi Jinping responded affirmatively, offering to increase imports of Vietnamese agricultural products, expand trade promotion offices in China, and facilitate access for high-quality Vietnamese products to the Chinese market. The two leaders agreed to enhance people-to-people exchanges and foster mutual understanding and friendship, designating 2025 as the Vietnam-China Humanistic Exchange Year. On international and regional issues, they emphasized coordinating and supporting each other in multilateral forums and international mechanisms based on their legitimate interests and the broader international community's needs. Regarding maritime issues, they had open discussions, agreeing to implement high-level agreements effectively and work towards managing and resolving disagreements. After the talks, the two leaders witnessed the signing of a number of cooperation documents in various fields. Later, General Secretary and President Xi Jinping respectfully invited General Secretary and State President Theo to a tea party.
As part of his visit to China, Vietnamese Party General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm on August 19th met with Chinese Premier Li Qiang. During the talks, General Secretary and President Tô Lâm emphasized that this visit aims to take on and continue the high importance that the party, the state of Vietnam, and successive generations of Vietnamese leaders, including the late General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong, have placed on Vietnam-China relations. Both sides agreed that the relations between the two parties and the two countries have made historic strides, reaching their most profound, comprehensive, and substantive level to date, with significant achievements in political trust, trade cooperation, investment, tourism, local cooperation, and people-to-people exchanges. Vietnamese Party General Secretary and President Tô Lâm encouraged closer cooperation between the National Assembly of Vietnam and the National People's Congress of China, or NPC, through visit exchanges. This was during his visit with Zhao Leji, chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress of China in Beijing on August the 19th. He said that the two parliaments should effectively implement and concretize their recently reached agreement on cooperation, increase the sharing of experience in lawmaking, and monitor the two governments in implementing shared perceptions and agreements between senior leaders of the two countries. Zhao Leji affirmed that China considers Vietnam a priority direction in its neighborhood diplomacy. Also on August the 19th, Vietnamese Party General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm met with Wang Huning, a member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee and chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, or CPPCC. The top leader expressed his desire for both sides to continue strengthening the exchange of information, experiences, theories, and practices between the two parties. He emphasized the importance of effectively utilizing the cooperation mechanisms between key ministries and sectors, such as public security, national defense, and foreign affairs. For his part, CPPCC Chairman Wang Huning affirmed that China always considers its relationship with Vietnam a priority in its neighboring diplomacy. Prime Minister VietnamChina attended a conference in Hanoi on Monday to review the 2023 to 2024 academic year and launch tasks for the new year. At the conference, he highlighted that education and training need attention to create momentum for rapid and sustainable national development.
At the event, Prime Minister VietnamChina asked the education sector to carry out key tasks for the coming school year. He emphasized the need to carefully prepare for the new school year, particularly by improving the quality of teachers. He also requested the sector effectively implement the Politburo's Conclusion 91 on continuing educational and training innovations, as well as reviewing, amending, and supplementing policies related to education. He asked those in the sector to summarize and comprehensively evaluate the general education program and textbook innovation.
It's important to underscore the motto of taking students as the center and subject, teachers as the motivation, schools as support, families as the fulcrum, and society as the foundation for education and training activities. Students not only gain knowledge, but also develop virtues, intelligence, physical strength, ambition, and dreams, while serving the country and its people. Teachers should be exemplary, guiding and supporting students by identifying their strengths and weaknesses to foster their growth. Schools need to provide a supportive environment with adequate facilities, technology, and safety. Families offer both emotional and material support, understanding students' challenges. Society should foster a healthy environment through laws, culture, and ethics, and encourage learning.
With 2025 being the first year of the new high school graduation exam, the Prime Minister instructed the Ministry of Education to ensure thorough preparations to ensure its quality, safety, and effectiveness. He urged the ministry to improve university training and develop high-quality human resources. He also called on ministries and localities to plan construction and secure land for schools.
Receiving Laos Investment Minister Phet Phongphiphak in Hanoi on August the 19th, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh appreciated the efforts of the Vietnam-Laos Cooperation Plan Agreement over the past 6 months in resolving many difficulties and obstacles in key cooperative projects to facilitate bilateral cooperation in many fields. He proposed that the two sides resolve pending issues in a timely manner to support the implementation of ongoing projects in Laos and undertake new projects in the fields such as energy, mining, mineral processing, agriculture, tourism, and education. Phongphiphak welcomed the Vietnamese Prime Minister's proposals and said the Vietnam-Laos Cooperation Committee would coordinate closely with relevant agencies of the two countries to effectively implement high-level agreements reached by their top leaders. The National Assembly Standing Committee convened for its 36th session on Monday in Hanoi. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn chairs the meeting. The 36th session will last for 4 days to discuss 12 important issues.
3 draft laws will be tabled for consideration for the first time during the meeting. These are the draft revised electricity law, the law on standards and technical regulations, and the law on officers of the Vietnam People's Army. The committee will also comment on the revised version of the draft law on the People's Air Defense based on the opinions of National Assembly deputies at the recent 7th session. In addition to these, the committee will consider the government's proposal to add 2 draft laws to the law and ordinance-making program, including a draft law revising and supplementing some articles of the law on health insurance and the draft law on disease prevention. The National Assembly chairman stressed the need for careful review due to the large number of draft laws submitted to the National Assembly at the 8th and 9th sessions.
It is necessary to carefully consider the necessity of the draft laws and the supplementation of the law-making program at an appropriate time. Laws that remain ambiguous, uncertain, or lack empirical evidence should be subjected to further research. We must not compromise the procedural steps outlined in the law on the promulgation of legal documents due to time pressures.
Furthermore, the National Assembly Standing Committee approved a resolution aiming to reform the organization and management system and improve the performance of public non-business units. Regarding the revised electricity law, the National Assembly Standing Committee also proposed eliminating all barriers to ensure transparent, market-driven energy prices. The law should formalize the promotion of efficient energy use and ensure no cross-subsidization of electricity prices between customer groups and regions. It is necessary to carefully review the state monopoly investment, aim to attract social investment, and reduce public investment.
Coming up next on VTV News, Public Security Force dedicated to the people. And later on, energization of 2 component projects of the 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 line completed. Welcome back to VTV News Live. Now, the 79th anniversary of the People's Public Security Force and the 19th National Day for All People to Protect National Security were celebrated on Monday. For nearly 8 decades, the force has built a proud legacy of service and sacrifice. From remote villages to disaster zones, police officers have been there to support, protect, and serve the community.
Police officers in many flooding localities are always there to respond to rescue calls of the locals, from Ha Giang, Quang Nam to Sơn La provinces.
When the flood rushed out, the officer told me to not be worried. He would save my child. At that time, I didn't think much and just jumped into the fast flow to save people.
Guided by the principle of being there for the people, the police forces in localities have become trusted pillars in many communities. Major Hai and the local security force patrol at night in the most isolated Hmong village of Mai Son, Son La province, which was once a hotspot of drug trafficking. They visited each household to offer support and guidance.
Listening to police advice, we came to raise people's awareness on the harmful effects of drugs, and they gradually understood.
Hundreds of hectares of fruit areas are in harvest season, yielding an income of 280 to 300 USD per household. Over the past 3 years, the local police force has closely monitored the region through a self-managed camera system, helping the locals to feel assured of the security level.
There used to be a lot of drug addicts here, but I haven't seen any in years. I feel safe and not worried about anything getting lost.
The police force patrolling day and night has brought peace to the region. Some officers have even had to make sacrifices in fighting against drug crime. Their sacrifice has contributed to enriching Vietnam's glorious heroic tradition and strengthening the trust of the people towards the party, state, and the People's Public Security Force.
During the height of the Great August Revolution, the People's Public Security Force was officially established. The day of August the 19th, 1945 was designated to be the traditional day of the Vietnam People's Public Security. Over the past 79 years, the People's Public Security Force has proven worthy of its loyalty to the party and dedication to the people. It's a force that puts country and service above self. On this long journey, the People's Force has fulfilled great duties in protecting national security, social order, and safety.
The Republic of South Sudan is facing poverty, conflict, and instability. Apart from dedicating themselves to training local police forces, Vietnamese police officers participating in peacekeeping activities here also bring love to the locals. This once again demonstrates Vietnam's international commitment to actively and responsibly participate in maintaining peace, security, order, stability, and development in the region and the world.
We highly appreciate the contributions that the Vietnamese public security officers participating in UN peacekeeping missions. They have devoted themselves with a true professionalism, demonstrating a strong commitment to the peacekeeping mission in South Sudan.
We need people who come here with the spirit of overcoming difficulties and hardships. Vietnamese officers have been performing their duties very well and contributing very effectively to the work of UN police.
In the field of crime prevention and control, the Ministry of Public Security promotes multilateral and bilateral cooperation to enhance information exchange and coordination in investigating and handling crimes and transnational crime rings related to Vietnam.
It can be said that the international cooperation work of the Ministry of Public Security with police organizations of other countries and international organizations has gone exceptionally well. We have built trust with our partners when exchanging information. We have an international responsibility to other countries. And of course, this is reciprocated.
Clearly, the foreign cooperation efforts of the People's Public Security continue to affirm its role as one of the main pillars of Vietnam's foreign policy.
After more than 7 months of construction, on Monday, the National Power Transmission Corporation, along with the Northern and Central Power Projects Management Boards, in coordination with related units, completed the energization of 2 important component projects of the 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 line project. The project runs from Quang Trạch in Quang Binh to Pho Noi in Hưng Yên. More on the 3-line project in this next story.
The Quỳnh Lưu, Thanh Hóa and Nam Định 1 thermal power plant Pho Noi sections are 2 of the 4 key components of the 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 line project that have been completed and energized. This reduces the load on existing 500 kilovolt lines and provides system backup.
Energizing the Nam Định 1 Phonoi section connects the power grid from Thanh Hóa to Nam Định and from Quỳnh Lưu, Thanh Hóa to Quảng Trạch. This enhances the power reserve for the 500 kilovolt grid, improves power supply from the north central region to the north, and ensures stable supply to meet future demand in the north.
With a length of 519 kilometers through 9 provinces, the Thanh Hóa Nam Định 1 thermal power plant section energized on June 30th. The 500 kilovolt circuit 3 line project is nearing completion.
We have completed 3/4 of the project. The remaining part is the 500 kilovolts Quảng Trạch to Quỳnh Lưu power line. We are working diligently to finish the project in line with the Prime Minister's directives.
Once completed, the 500 kilovolt circuit 3 line will boost inter-regional transmission capacity from 2,200 megawatts to about 5,000 megawatts, adding over 20 billion kilowatt hours of electricity supply to the north annually.
With minimal investment and just 15 days of work, Mekong people can generate income. This seemingly unbelievable scenario is a reality in the Mekong ethnic group villages of Nam Rong District, Lâm Đồng Province. Through the creation of a silk production chain, many poor households have quickly escaped poverty.
This mountainside village is home to Mekong people in the Rusal Commune, Nam Rong District, Lâm Đồng Province. Mulberry cultivation and silkworm raising have changed significantly. Every household takes care of their silkworm trays. For every box of seeds raised, they can collect 60 to 65 kilograms of cocoons after 15 days, earning $300 to $350.
Mulberry is easy to grow, and generally, the monthly income is good.
Over the past 3 years, the Rusal Commune has seen a poverty reduction rate of 2 to 3% per year. This result is thanks to the suitable livelihood of silkworm farming for cocoon production. The practice requires minimal capital investment, yet generates income quickly.
They do not need to pay for the seeds in advance. We will deduct the money for the seeds later, so that they have the initial capital to do so.
More than 2,000 households in Nam Rong District have joined the company to raise silkworms. Every month, farmers supply about 80 tons of cocoons to the company. One effective poverty reduction strategy is investing in community-based mulberry cultivation, linking production with the consumption.
Now we are very stable. The factory signs the contract with people, so they have a place to sell products.
Now that poor households have access to suitable livelihoods within production chains, rapid and sustainable poverty reduction is more feasible. As a result, the poverty rate has dropped significantly from 73% 20 years ago to only about 12% today.
Coming up next in our world news, Belarus calls on Russia and Ukraine to negotiate. And later on, Israel and Hamas set up demands in negotiations. Now moving on to our world news, Russia and Ukraine should sit down at the negotiating table, otherwise the conflict risks escalation. That is the statement from Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko in an interview with the Russian state television channel on Sunday. According to Lukashenko, Ukraine attacked the Kursk province to gain a more favorable position in negotiations. However, no side will negotiate with Kiev in the current state. President Lukashenko added Belarus and Russia have implemented a plan to protect the Belarusian border. This move came as Ukraine is stationing more than 120,000 soldiers along its border with Belarus. Also on Sunday, Ukraine's Ukrinform news agency quoted its president Volodymyr Zelensky, stating that the military incursion into Russia's Kursk region aims to create a buffer zone to prevent further attacks by Moscow across the border. It was the first time Zelensky clearly stated the aim of the operation that began on August the 6th. Hamas and Israel are set to resume Gaza ceasefire talks on Wednesday in Cairo, Egypt. Ahead of the talks, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stressed that Israel will keep its demand in the ceasefire negotiations in the Gaza Strip. He stated that there are areas where Israel can be flexible, and there are areas it cannot be flexible about. Also on Sunday, Hamas maintained that Israel is adding demands to try to prolong the conflict. Hamas stressed that the latest proposal is only suitable for Israel's condition. Notably, Israeli Prime Minister rejected a permanent ceasefire and any withdrawal from Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is also in Israel and has met with Israeli Prime Minister to promote a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. The Philippines had detected a new case of the mpox virus in the country, the first since December last year, according to its health department on Monday. The patient was a 33-year-old Filipino male who had no travel history outside the Philippines. According to the Philippine Department of Health, symptoms started more than a week ago with fever, which was followed 4 days later by findings of a distinct rash on the face, back, nape, trunk, groin, as well as his palms and soles. The health department is awaiting test results before being able to determine the strain. The new case in the Philippines is the 10th laboratory-confirmed case the health department has detected. The first case was in July 2022. China's first high-power hydrogen energy shunting locomotive will soon be put into operation. The locomotive is expected to significantly reduce air pollutants and greenhouse gas emissions.
The hydrogen-powered locomotive is equipped with a hydrogen fuel cell and a lithium power battery, boasting multiple power supply modes. Its maximum power reaches up to 2,400 kilowatts. At present, the locomotive has already completed tests on its power system and key components regarding durability and performance in high and low temperature environments, and will soon be put into use.
This hydrogen-powered shunting locomotive is not only energy efficient and environmentally friendly but also extremely powerful. It has a maximum traction load reaches 10,000 tons.
On June 2nd, the country's first heavy-load railway hydrogen refueling research and demonstration station was put into operation in North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. The station mainly provides services for domestic heavy-duty locomotives and zero-emission catenary working vehicles supported by hydrogen fuel cells and lithium-ion power batteries.
The hydrogen dispenser is designed with advanced control strategies, achieving a hydrogen filling rate of 7.2 kilograms per minute, which is twice that of traditional hydrogen stations. The station can fill up a hydrogen-powered locomotive in as short as 30 minutes.
The hydrogen fuel, if fully loaded, can enable the locomotive to run continuously for 12 hours, with a cruising range of up to 800 kilometers. Such a locomotive is expected to reduce fuel consumption by 164 tons and carbon dioxide emissions by about 508 tons per year.
Up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our official website or our YouTube channel or download a mobile app, VTVgo, for more. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.